You guys all good over here? All right, we'll start with the opening statement from Coach and go on to questions.
First, I think the great thing, I think the Muss was great tonight. I think that the numbers they showed up and was great. The fans too. No, it was great. My first game, most of the guys' first game. All the coaches and players are new, so grateful for the support and no, excited. It's been after 4 or 5 months to finally play a game that counts and to get a win. So a lot to work on, but I'm happy for our guys tonight.
We'll open it up for questions for Coach.
Alex, obviously your first official game back in the Huntsman Center, coaching at your alma mater. Just was there any moments where you kind of went down memory lane? Was there anything surreal just about coaching your first official game tonight?
Yeah. No, I think since I've been back, I think it's been a continuous trip down memory lane. A lot of good memories. I think it adds to the, I guess my desire to win, because I when I played here and even before and after that, 'cause I know how special this place is and how special it can be. So yeah, it's a continuous trip down memory lane.
Coach Seydou Traore, 23 points tonight, really impactful in that second half. Just can you put in words just what he means to this team?
One thing I'm trying to encourage all of our guys is to make mistakes and errors of aggression. And and Seydou being I think, I don't know age-wise, but one of the older guys, but I think just his competitiveness and his physicality and just kind of like leadership in not a vocal way, but just the toughness. And I think that tonight it showed on the stat line, and also I think it helps the other guys on the team. I think he's one of those guys that his teammates will listen to and follow. So yeah, great game by him tonight.
A couple of your guards, Don and Terrence, we got to see them a little bit in Oregon, but tonight both of them scored double figures. Just what did you think of the starting guard lineup and their performance tonight?
I'm gonna ask Don to get 9 rebounds every night, which doesn't happen. But Don and TB. They both come from teams last year where they needed to score 20 points a game. That's what their particular teams needed, and and that's not an easy thing to do. But I've asked them to. You got to control the team, run the team, pass the ball, and I think they both did a great job with that. And that's not an easy thing to do. And I think they've accepted that responsibility and role. And I think they'll continue to get better at that, because there's going to be times when we need them to score, but more importantly, we need them to get us organized and run the team. And I think TB, I got fired up at the end, but until the end, I think he had 1 turnover, up until the 2 at the end. And I think he's done a great job. And I give them credit for the 18 to 11 assist to turnover ratio. So I think they did a good job.
Going back to Traore a little bit, San Jose State goes on that run, gets to the 1-point lead over you, take time out. He then comes out and kind of makes that difference. Do you feel like that was kind of a pivotal turning point in the game for you guys, and what does that mean to have a guy like that can do that?
Yeah, no, I think it's I probably did a poor job describing Seydou's personality, but he's a competitive guy, and I think when he hit that 3, that put us up. We got the lead back, and then from there, I don't think we relinquished it. But just his and all of our guys done a good job. Like, it's not just about scoring. Like, he wants to win, so that plays out in the rebounds and the steals and just like the little plays like that. And he's not afraid to take the shot. But no, it's good to have him back. We didn't have him for a while, and we're a much different team with him.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the win tonight. I was going to say, just because it's very early in the year, you guys seem to play with a lot of heart. There were some times where they kind of got close and they pushed away, and you guys pulled ahead. Just if there was like an identity for this team or an identity you would hope to have for this team, what would you say that would be?
I think there'll be a lot of times when we might be smaller or slower than the team we're playing, but I think just the toughness one. Like the drives. TB took the charge in the first half, I believe, and just just like the fouls, like, I think a lot of that had to do with being ready before they get the ball, but just being able to make them go through you or over you, right? Not just to let them get by you and, just getting a little lackadaisical on the side. But I think, no, just like a tough team that keeps going. And, the one thing I'm not happy with the fouls, but I think our guys didn't complain a lot. Like we've had some refs in to do some of our scrimmages and practices, and we made a point of just putting next play, and they did a really good job with that tonight. But just like a tough team, and I would say that would what I want our team to be known as, like the next play. Like we keep coming. We get knocked down, we keep coming. We get a bad call, we keep coming. We're doing well, we keep coming, which is not always an easy thing to do.
Coach, Kendall Sanders provided a spark off the bench tonight, 9 points, 7 rebounds. How did you feel about his performance tonight?
Kendall going from a guy we contemplating maybe redshirting him before Baba got injured to just his improvement, and yeah, huge place. The offensive rebound, the 3 in the corner, but Kendall, is one of the guys I think has made the biggest strides in the last few months. The opportunity was provided, and I think he could get a lot better, like the rest of our guys. But yeah, I think he just turned 20 for his first game. It was great to see. I was happy for him.
Alex, you walked into this job saying you wanted this to be a developmental program. Obviously, it's the first game, but just looking at this game, what are some teaching moments that you think you can sort of apply from this game, or even teaching moments that you had during the game that you were able to kind of walk your players through?
There's the 2 exhibition games were great. I think they helped us a lot for tonight. There's plenty of teaching moments, kind of not know where to start, but there's things we talk about. We talk about our absolutes, like who's going to crash and who's going to get back, and we slipped up on those a few times, and like that's the easiest thing to do. Like we always try to tell them, you got to think about your role in the team, like what my job is, like, and do your job. And I think they've done a great job responding to it. But there was a handful of times where guys, that might not be something I do in a year or two, but they came out when they made certain mistakes, and to give them credit, they handled it well, and then they bounced back and try not to make the same mistake 2 times. But definitely a developmental year, and we've come a long way just in the last 3 weeks.
Last one over here.
Alex, how would you assess your interior defense or defense as a whole and kind of what you saw tonight?
I mentioned the rebounding. I thought that was disappointing in the first half, it was good at times. But, I think the fouling, just guarding the drive, was difficult for us. Like keeping him out of the paint. Like I mentioned TB's charge in the first half, which was good. But, I think it was they hit a couple threes early in the game. Didn't want to panic. We got to stick to our principles. But I think just the talking as a unit and keeping them out of the places they want to go, especially the paint and the fouls, it was just not being prepared for when the guy had the ball. So I think we got to do a much better job at guarding the drive.
All right, thanks, Coach.